Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday. It's July 23rd. This will be our chart lesson for today. Big two-tiered downward channel. This was really hard to find, this bigger picture, though. It didn't really help you till late in the afternoon, maybe, um, when it came back through and it was testing it here. Otherwise, this just doesn't really help you. Um, finding well, I take that back. The only thing it might have helped was if you found the midline, which even then this was not easy to find. If you found the midline, you probably could find that there's uh, an equal distance here, and you might have found where this was likely to bounce here. Um, but even then, I didn't trust it because you had this shorter term two-tiered channel working down here to help you know when this was over. So it's still the bigger picture really didn't help. Um, and but you had a short term down, a short term up, a shorter term down, a short term up, and then that really got you into the late of day. And overall, the big picture was down, and we were pretty much down all morning. Um, we had a break here, an attempt at a new low. We didn't quite get it. Then we went higher, and then we just kept going lower here. It was an interesting day, but it's in the big picture. It's just a big downtrend, and I had at least one person send me a chart that they really struggled today. That's why you got to learn to use these short terms. And one thing I want to mention real quickly before I go over the trades. Um, One of the traders sent me something. Uh, he saw this downtrend and a break, um, but this whole uptrend right here, he was waiting on a retest. So he says he couldn't go long. Well, once you get a confirmed trend or a trap in the other direction, once prices got above this EMA, I don't like going long right there. But when you get this failed second entry short here and everything's above the EMA and you got a trend working up now, go long right there. You don't, just because you don't have a true retest, the bias tells us that we're going to get or attempt at a retest, but you don't know. You might trend for 30 minutes in the other direction before it tries to go lower. And it may not, and sometimes on range days it doesn't go lower. It just goes to the other side of the range. And early on it looked like this might be a range day. That's why there's a couple of longs in here early on. So keep that in mind. Some people try to box the rules in, and if we could do that, if it was that easy, we could just write a program to do all this for us. But that's why you can't really write a program to price action trade, because there's a lot of variables and you have to see everything and you have to think, and the rules are not 100% written in stone. And but there's always enough information to figure it out. You may miss it now, don't get me wrong, but the price action is never wrong. Long ago I used to think that some good trades just failed, but since then I've learned that there's things that tell you price action is never wrong, and really perfectly good trades do not fail. When a trade fails, you've missed something. And it took me more than a few years to get to become that advanced myself. So, but now I realize that the price action is never wrong. There's always a clue there, and I still get better at this every day. So, just because you've been doing this and maybe having success, you're going to continue to get better if you keep at it. It's amazing how you can continue to pick up and see little things every day that help you get better. So, keep that in mind. But anyway. Um, One other thing, if you were looking for a chart lesson yesterday, there wasn't one. We had a storm here late in the afternoon when I came back to do the chart lesson, and the power was out, and I waited around about an hour, and I was bored to death, and I just couldn't wait any longer, so I just gave up and went home. So no chart lesson yesterday for that reason. A little later today than I wanted to be doing it, but I'm going to get through these trades, and there was some good movement today. Um, the volatility has slowed, the volume has slowed, but this was still a really good trading day, really good trend day. It was a little confusing early on because it looked like it was going to be a trading range, and then it would continue on, and there's a bigger two-tiered pattern that, if you're not really good at this, you may not be able to even spot it. Uh, Even after the fact, a lot of people may not spot this bigger two-tier channel, but it's there. Um, we never got a confirmation of the trend line until here, and then but that's at the end of the day. And notice how it held right there, and then when it gapped up above it, when it opened back up at 3:30 or whatever. So, but let's back out, talk about the trades, and get through this, and I'll get this uploaded because it's after 6 o'clock, so I'd like to get this uploaded. But early on, there was a um, failed second entry long here, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. That's a nice bullish bar. It's tempting to go long there. If you did, you had to reverse. That's the only trade. The thing is, you had to see this trend line here, and it's really a little lower probably. And so you've gotten 3 bars that touch, and then you get this bar that touch. Maybe it's not down there, but you got a touch right here basically. Okay, I had a slight interruption. I can't even remember where we were, but I think we were talking about, you know, following the rules, and once you get a trend in the other direction, don't worry about the retest until this trend on the way up ends. And it just like this one. This one's going up. You get a break, 2 legs to a new high, and then it reverses. And what I'll see usually will happen is people will have these drawn wrong. They'll have this drawn out here, which it might be out there. Let me just see how that fits. Well, that fits pretty good. So, but generally the trend is off the first few. You can see those first few touches there, and that's why I drew it that way. And it also it fits that way too. You can see it fitting up through there. So, but you can't draw a trend line that doesn't have a bunch of touches. And I'll see people's trend lines be drawn, and it comes out here like this, and there's no touch until way up here, and so that's not right. It's usually the first couple of swings, or the first, and when it's these shorter term ones, it's usually the first few bars there, and that's holding price action pretty nicely until you get a break, and then there's 2 little jogs to a new high, and then it reverses. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's talk about the trades and wrap this up. Let me get this posted, get this uploaded to YouTube. But early on, prices are swinging up and down. There's a possible long here. We talked about it already. If you went long, there's not much you can do but reverse. A good short there. This one was tempting to go long because it is a second entry, but and you actually could treat that like a possible failed break lower, but there just wasn't enough evidence for me to like going long there. But I could see how you could get tripped up there. It is tempting. And the only reason I liked it to the short side is because it's a failed second entry long, and they're going to trap people. So if you did get trapped, you got to reverse there. It's an easy move down. And then you get a second entry short right here off the trend line. This is really your signal bar, but because it didn't break lower, there's a lot of congestion right there. So it's really a little bit aggressive to go short right there. But what I liked was waiting on this bar, and then when it broke below, drop you a limit order back where the original stop would have gone. And you see it came right back and filled it. And there's actually a breakout pullback short right there. So you could have gone short right there as well. I don't like that entry as much. I liked entering there with the limit order. But even with that, you could have entered below that with a stop on a little breakout pullback short. So there's really another trade there. I'll go ahead and circle that one. But I really like entering on the other one, letting it break lower and dropping the limit order and letting it pull back, and that's what it did. But this is a fairly bearish bar, so you could have even considered a stop there, but that's getting to be a pretty big stop to put your stop way up here, your safety stop. So you really want to probably try to get in that on a limit order. And then it comes down here and it just gets hung up in this trading range. And this is just a range. This is congestion. there's a failed second entry long right there, and you get a break of the channel, the trend line, but your signal bar is not very good. Plus, you don't want to go short right into that support right there. And then it reverses. But the reason I like the long here is you did have a break and an attempt at a retest, but notice that low. That's the double test. That's a triple bottom there. We're probably at least going back to this high right here, and maybe even higher. You probably get a failed break out the other side, and it just keeps going. So I like that one for a long. And at that point, I really thought this was going to be a range day. I don't like going long on the second entry counting off the low here, but when you get the failed second entry short, notice that's a triple bottom, so you can count that as a new low. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry, it fails, just go long right there. And another trap. And then you got your break here, two legs to a new high. It turns down first entry, pull back. There's a second entry, but that's a lot of congestion right there. There's three bars overlapping. One of them's a doji. This is a bearish bar, but it couldn't break below the other one. It didn't close on its low, so it's a little bit aggressive going short there. You're looking for prices to probably come back and test this line, but this thing just keeps going. And your best entry is to wait right here on this breakout pull back short. Plus, this is a failed second entry long. Notice the new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. So there's your failed second entry long. It's a breakout pull back short from breaking below this. Generally, that will be off the very lows. So even though I like to use the closes a lot, and notice that. And there's a little double top there because it's equal to that high. So there's several reasons to go short right there. And if you took this trade, any runners are safe. Any runners would have been safe on this one if you entered there, but that one's a little more aggressive. But this one's a great setup, and you can ride this thing all the way down. You really could have entered here. It's a first entry. There's not much room. It's already moved a good ways, but it is right off that midline. And then it just keeps on trucking down. But if you entered either one of those places, you ride this all the way down until you get your break. It comes right here. You get a break of the trend line. Notice this. This is almost a repeat pattern of this over here to a degree. Notice the three matching lows, and the only difference is this is such a strong downtrend. You don't want to be trying to pick a bottom. So the bias is down now. So this has changed, even though this looks a lot like this. If you'd have taken the long, it would have worked. It's a repeat pattern. It broke lower, broke out. It still would have worked. So for that reason, I will give it a green circle. But once you know this is not a trading range and you've got a trend line here, you don't want to be buying down here. The only reason I'm going to give this a green circle just because it's a repeat pattern, and generally if it works once it's going to work again. But notice the big move down and the triple bottom, the big move down, the triple bottom, and it would have worked. But really you want to sit here and wait for shorts, and this one you get a fairly decent short here. I don't like this signal bar a whole lot, but this notice this triple bottom. So this is like a new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. But there's also the move up, pull back, and a second entry there. It fails, and you got this double top and a little failed break higher a couple of times. So I was okay with you going short right there. I don't think I would have waited on this bar and gone short here because you don't have much room left. Only if you entered below this one. It's not a great signal bar, but this is a big downtrend, and this is a double top and a downtrend right off the trend line. And you do have a bearish bar. I really would have liked it better if it would have turned down and broke out the bottom of this one all in one bar, or broke out the top here on this bar and then turned down. But I still think this is worth giving it a red circle because you figure you're going to test this low and you got enough room. And then it comes back and gives you a first entry. It does make a new low here, but this is like a failed second entry long, and it's a turn down right off the top of the trading range. That's the main thing, and you got enough room there to scalp out, so I liked it. And you know there's going to be a bunch of people trying to pick a bottom that get trapped on that big bar when it breaks higher. So you might use a limit order here, but I'm okay with taking that short right there because it's just a turn down off the top of this trading range um, with a downward bias. I don't like going long there at all. So you wait on the short. There's a second entry short right here, but it's not a very good one. But when you get this, even though this would have worked for a second entry long, you can treat that like a failed second entry long. Um, Notice the matching highs across there. That's like a little failed break higher again. It turns down. So, um, but notice that new high pullback first entry, pullback second entry. And for all intents and purposes, you could have considered maybe going long here. But if you realize that this is a bigger two-tiered pattern and that we haven't had a break of the trend line, you're going to scratch that. So that's the reason I didn't mark it. There's a possible long there. It's a pullback to test this breakout area as well. So there's some reasons to consider going long there, but it's really aggressive and when you start buying in a downtrending market, trying to pick bottoms, you're better off to leave them alone because the bias is down and let these rallies play out and go long and look for the shorts. So this was a great setup right here. And again, any runners were safe, and that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. And also, this is probably right here the measured move distance. I didn't measure it, but generally, let's just measure it real quick. There's your first part of your range, and you can see that's a perfect measured move. And it came back and it tested it once, came back and tested it twice. That's the double test rule. So several reasons to go short right there. And that was pretty much it for today. And we just continued to trend down until late in the afternoon. We took some of it back. So this was a nice downtrend here. And you only need to catch one of these entries. The best entry was right here. The other two were a little bit aggressive. And I just don't see any reason, rhyme or reason you're going to want to enter down in here because we've moved so far. It's just a matter of time till it bounces, and you see that's what happens. And but yeah, the market's back to a more normal pace, lower volatility, more of a normal volume again. And this is, usually you're going to get 7 to 10 trades, setups. And you only need 2 or 3 of those to make a good living doing this. So keep that in mind. What gets me more than anything is, and I get it a lot lately, and I've talked about this a lot lately, but people will send me an email and say, I got here, I didn't know whether to go long or short, and they just guess. Anytime you don't know what to do, the answer is do nothing. Just wait, because in a little bit, it'll get clear. If you're sitting here, just wait this out. In a little while, a little bit longer, this is things trending down like crazy. And then it's obvious what to do. Try to get short. So stay away from this stuff. Just like down here. If you're unsure, the bias is down now and down strongly. So if you do anything, it better be short. And if you're not sure what to do, the answer is do nothing. Do absolutely nothing and just wait. And you'll get an opportunity to do something, it'll clarify itself and change in a little bit. Then you'll have a better idea. But we're not gamblers. If you come into day trading, the ES is or any market day trading, if you come in as a gambler, you're going to lose money. I can assure you that. We don't want to gamble. We want to only take high probability winning trades. And it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of discipline, and most people don't have it. And I get one of two things more than anything. You get people that are just what I call cowboys. They shoot at everything that comes along. Every bar that forms, they're looking for an entry, and they overtrade, and they're constantly trading everything. And then the other deal you get is you get people that try to box everything into specific rules, and they get too conservative. And just like the gentleman that sent me his email, and he misses a nice short trap for a good long here, because he's thinking he can't go long because we hadn't had a retest yet. So once you get a confirmed trend in the other way, you can go with it. And just like right here, you get the signal that it's ending a new 2 legs to a new high, and then you're downtrending again. So just don't go long on a downtrend until you get a confirmed trend up. And then once you get a confirmed trend up, don't go short until you get a good trend down. And you knew you had a confirmed trend right here pretty much when you had the failed second entry short and a breakout pullback short. And the first thing I would have been doing, I hadn't even talked about this, I almost forgot. You measure that first move down and you measure this next one, and you expect it to at least go there. But this thing went a lot further. This thing was really weak. But that would be your minimum target, is right in this area somewhere. And so keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded before people think there's no chart lesson again today. I apologize for not being one yesterday, but just didn't have the power. And um, this one's a little bit late, but I'm going to upload it right now. So, but I'm done for the day. We'll be back again. Actually, tomorrow's Friday, so no chart lesson tomorrow. But we'll be back again to do it Monday. So hope you have a good trading day. Hope you had a good trading day. Hope you have a good trading day tomorrow. And we'll be back again to do it Monday. But this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.